In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. I still remember the magic that I felt the first time that I read those words, and honestly, I still feel it every time I see them today. Those words opened a door for me. Maybe they did for you too. For me, it was a door out of loneliness. It was a door out of confusion, and it was a door into a world where stories could be companions, where courage could come from the most unexpected of places. Welcome to Shelf Aware, where knowing leads to growing. When I first discovered The Hobbit, my life looked nothing like Middle-earth. I was in 5th grade, my parents had recently divorced, and I'd been forced to move to a new school where I didn't know anyone and no one seemed interested in knowing me. I was the strange kid. I was lonely, sitting in a room full of people and still feeling completely unseen. I remember watching the Hobbit cartoon on a reel-to-reel projector as they showed it to us in class and falling in love with the story, seeking out the book, and that little hardback book with the dragon curling across the cover, that book became my friend, my first real friend in that very uncomfortable world. From the moment that I opened that book, it seemed like everything changed for me. Suddenly, I wasn't just sitting alone at lunch. I was hanging out with Bilbo Baggins in Bag End, listening to dwarves sing under the glow of firelight, stepping out onto a road that would eventually lead to trolls, to Rivendell, to mountains, to riddles in the dark. Middle-earth became a place that I could go, a place that I could live in for a little while when my real world felt too small or too painful or too empty. And Bilbo became a role model, someone that I could look up to, not because he was strong or impressive or destined for greatness, because, in so many ways, he wasn't. Bilbo was small. Bilbo was overlooked. Bilbo loved comfort. He loved routine. He was, in so many ways, what I felt myself to be. But page by page, chapter by chapter, Bilbo showed me something that I desperately needed to see. He showed me that courage isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It doesn't have to look like movie heroism. Courage can begin quietly in ordinary people who take one trembling step and then another. Through Bilbo, I learned that even the smallest of us can be truly brave. And that sometimes the greatest adventures, the ones that change us, that make us who we're meant to be, they begin just outside the door. As a kid who felt lost and invisible, I needed that message more than I knew. You see, the Hobbit didn't just entertain me. It influenced me. It grew me. It gave me a place to belong at a time when I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. It taught me that feeling small doesn't mean that you can't be courageous. It taught me that the world is bigger than the pain that you're sitting in at any given moment, and that sometimes when life pushes you into the unknown, there just might be some treasure on the other side. Not gold, but growth, belonging, purpose. It was the first book that made me realize that stories can heal, that books can be friends, that they can be comfort, and that literature can shape not only how we see the world, but who we are in it. That is why I wanted The Hobbit to be the very first book that we talked about here on Shelf Aware, because this channel isn't just about reviewing books. It's not about top 10 lists or TBRs, although there will be some of that. It's about how books change us. It's about the ways that they can teach us to be brave, to be kind, to be curious, to be wise. It's about the belief that knowing isn't just for knowing, but that knowing is for growing. And this little adventure tale from 1937 was one of the first books to truly influence me and to help me grow. Not the very first, that's a story for another day, but one of them. Look, I'd love to hear your story. What was the first book that made you feel seen or safe or brave or less alone? Drop the title in the comments below. Your story matters here. If you enjoyed this walk down memory lane with me, and if you'd like to explore more books that shape who we are, consider subscribing. Thanks for joining me on Shelf Aware, where knowing leads to growing. And just like Bilbo's, our road, our story, is just beginning.